Welcome to Muck. Muck is a game that I decided to play on stream over at twitch.tv/Felix_fighter because it was free and I don't make money. So, anyways, at its core, Muck is a silly little survival simulator where you have to grind out resources to craft weapons and fight the hordes of monsters that come each night in ever-increasing numbers. What this doofy exterior hides is the fact that this game was made by Satan himself. This game relies on close quarters combat, but the armor in it is next to useless, and there is no dodge roll, making combat an infuriating slugfest of pain and agony. That being said, I don't actually hate the game, but more on that later. For now, let's get into... Run 1 started out the way that all Muck runs start out. Find rock, find tree, smack tree, make bench, make tool, grind. One important aspect of the start of a Muck run, though, is finding food, because as your food bar lowers, your energy regeneration lowers, which sucks, because sprinting is the closest you can get to a dodge roll in this game. And of course, eating food makes you less hongy, and thus, the cows must die. I actually got really lucky at the start of this run. I found an abandoned smith house which came equipped with an anvil. Anvils are actually kind of a pain in the ass to make and are necessary for literally any tools past wooden equipment. I was about to get ready to start grinding for iron when the first night hit. Now, nighttime in Muck, for lack of a better term, is terrifying at times. That being said, night one's never that bad because, like beginning night. So I just kind of went around and smacked the shit out of these basic ass goobers with my little wooden axe. In the morning, I set to work smelting down iron to make a basic set of tools, most important of which was this shiny new steel sword. Finally, I had a real weapon. No longer was I going to be forced to fight my way through hordes of monsters with a wooden axe. At last, it was time for me to become the warrior that these monsters feared, and it's only marginally better than the axe. So, the sword has an obvious attack speed advantage on the axe, but it hits for such pitiful damage that it feels like a waste of time to even use it. Honestly, I kind of felt cheated. Either way, with this sword, I was able to clear out night 2 with relative ease. With that, I set back to work, grinding away at the surrounding resources, and let me say, it was a pretty big waste of time. I didn't really end up getting anything useful, so... shit. Top of that, night 3 brought with it these new wolves that were faster than I was, meaning I couldn't use my combat tactic of hit them and run to the side so that they can't hit me. They were a pain in the ass, and actually got my heart racing a bit, which is sad to admit. Anyways, night 3 went off without much of a hitch. One thing I haven't really talked about much yet are these chests that litter the place, because, well, I haven't really got anything cool out of them to show yet. To put it simply, when you kill a bastard, they drop money, which can be spent on these chests to unlock random passive effects like stat increases and abilities. Like here, I found a legendary effect, which increases my stats when I'm below 33% HP. This is insanely good for me since I am bad at this game and spend a lot of time on low HP. Realizing the shit was going nowhere fast at my base, I set out to explore and quickly stumbled upon an abandoned cart that had a golden axe in it, which was a welcome surprise considering that's higher quality than my steel one. I also noticed that some sort of weird marker had shown up on my hub, and decided to go check it out since, I had nothing to lose. On my way, I found some shitty little goobers that had spawned during the day for some reason. I don't really know why they did, but it doesn't matter because I slaughtered them for their money and moved on. After a while, I found out that the marker led to a village full of the first non-hostile NPCs I'd seen all day. And so, like any good video game protagonist, I set to work robbing them blind. In one of their chests, I found this weird soup. The game implied that I shouldn't eat it, but I'm not gonna let the game tell me what I can do, so I ate it anyways. And nothing happened, so, I don't really know where I was going with this. Anyways, at the edge of the village, I saw an old, dilapidated ship. This is where the marker actually fell, so I decided to go and check it out. In that moment, I learned the harsh reality of how bullshit Muck really is. Turns out, on the dawn of day 5 in normal difficulty, a boss will spawn a whopping 2 inches away from your chrome dome. I just thought I'd check out some neat little boat and then boom! I'm throwing hands with Big Buff Chunky, the literal mountain. Dude almost one-shots me in a single attack, and my hits do negligible damage to his rocky hide. In fact, I'm about 90% sure I died to him just fucking stepping on me. It was rough. Run 2 started off just like Run 1. Find rock, break tree, make tools, yada yada yada. And after a fairly slow start, I came across... I also need to find like a basic chest. I have enough money for one more bit. A cave! That's right, a cave. And in this cave, I found both a golden pickaxe, which was the highest quality pickaxe I'd found so far, and some mithril ore. Now, I don't really know what mithril is, but from my experience as a fan of the fantasy genre, I can tell you that it's pretty damn good. As I began exploring, I soon learned that my shiny new pickaxe was capable of cutting into mithril veins, meaning that now I had even more mithril on top of what I'd already found. Things were finally starting to shape up for me, and this was starting to look like it might be my best run of the night. And to top it all off, I even found a lifesteal passive, which was amazing. I felt like I was unstoppable as I wandered into this random village and set up shop. Finally, I was able to smelt down all the mithril I'd gathered, and while it smelted, I decided to do a little more exploring. Pretty quickly, I stumbled across another town, and while I was in this town, I noticed a peculiar chest. It sat solitude on a pillar with nothing around it. Intrigued, I opened it to find it empty. Confused, I closed the chest and found that opening it had aggroed the entire fucking village. I defended myself like any innocent man would do, because after all, I had quite literally taken nothing. I was actually innocent for once. The bloodshed was immense as I cut into the horde of them, over and over again until none remained, and I stood alone in a field of corpses. Except they don't actually drop corpses and instead just kind of explode into a puddle of blood and coins, so... free money! Anyways, after committing this atrocity, I decided that it was best if I just went back to my original village and focused on crafting my gear. Seemed kind of safer for everyone. I made some mithril armor and tools before finally crafting a mithril sword. And just as I finished crafting that sword though, the boss, Buff Gronk, decided to just fucking spawn behind me. Yeah, apparently this time the game didn't want to wait until the morning of day 5 and just sent this fucker at me midway through night 4. To my surprise though, I actually did some pretty decent damage to the guy and was kinda holding my own. Until the monsters of the night started spawning. You know those wolves from earlier? Yeah, well, an alpha one of those spawned, along with a whole array of other fucking gremlins to just beat the shit out of me. I'm gonna say that this fight was rigged from the start and blame that for the fact that I lost to the boss. I'm not bad at the game, I'm the best gamer on the planet, the developers are just bad at making a game. Around here is where I started to notice the trap of muck. You see, this wasn't actually my second run, this was more like my 12th run. And around my 8th run, which was somewhere around 3 hours into the stream, I had decided that if I lost the run, I was going to switch to a different game. I was angry and I needed to do something else. But when I lost that run, I realized something. I had gotten to good tools quicker than I had in run 7. So maybe if I got a run 9 in, I could beat it. And then in run 9, I got to good tools quicker than I had in run 8, and died to some random bullshit RNG. Well, RNG can't always fuck me over, so maybe run 10. And it kept going. And I kept playing. And this is where I got stuck. I was angry. I was kind of enjoying myself, but really just angry. And still playing. Because I kept thinking, all I need is one more run. You know the drill. Rock, tree, grind. Only this time, I had a little bit of help. You see, I did this cheeky little thing called lower the difficulty. Some may say that this is cowardly, but if you ask me, it's just superior tactics. I mean, in war, you want to soften up your opponents with some bombs and shit before you attack. I mean, that's just smart warfare. Changing the difficulty was basically the same thing as me just outmaneuvering my enemies, so I see no problem with it. With my combat plan in action, I set to work grinding on my final run. At this point, I'd finally figured out what I'd been doing wrong in every single run before this. I'd been moving too slow. You see, if armor is useless and equipment upgrades are glacial, I need to just ignore the armor and speedrun tool and weapon quality upgrades. It was a foolproof plan that had me constantly on the move. But luck was on my side this run as I almost immediately found a golden axe in some abandoned wagon near spawn. And with a golden axe and a wooden pickaxe in hand, I set to work grinding resources with brutal efficiency. I was moving so efficiently that by the start of night 2, I already had mithril in the furnace. With an iron sword in hand, I defended my little base through the night as my ore smelted. And come morning, it was finally time to make a full set of mithril tools. With my new tools, I soon learned that I was now able to mine and smelt adamantine. Which means apparently the natural progression is mithril to adamantine, which, I guess seems legit. Either way, it didn't take long for me to get myself some adamantine tools. If it feels like I'm moving really fast through this, trust me, it's not because I cut out a bunch of shit or anything, it's because in this run I was actually just zooming through the progression chain. In most runs I barely had full iron by day 3, and here I was, morning of, with tools of a higher quality than I'd ever achieved before. It was wacky. Anyways, with these new tools in hand, I tore up my base and set out in search of stronger shit. As I explored, I found a chest with a piggy bank perk in it. At first I had no idea what this did, but thanks to a very helpful backseater in chat, I learned that it increases the maximum number of resources a vein can drop. This would have been huge like 10 minutes ago, but hey, I'll take it. After a while, I found out that the adamantine tools are for Obamium. Fucking Obamium. I can't with this shit. Cause guess what? Spoiler alert, this is the strongest vein I found. The strongest ore on this island is called fucking Obamium. I'm going to kill shit with a fucking ex-president. I cannot explain to you how much this pisses me off. Pissed off or not though, I'm not passing up a better weapon, so I guess we're killing shit with our good pal Obama. With my new sword in hand, I decided to see what one of these weird shrines that have been everywhere does. As it turns out, they spawn 3 alphas, which, good news, they're pretty damn flimsy when put to the test against my new Obama sword. And look at this, the shrine drops a free item. This one lets you double jump, which is less useful than it sounds. With newfound confidence, I set to work, searching for and fighting shrines until I learned a wacky little fact. Apparently, these shrines have about a 1 in 1,000 chance of throwing 3 bosses at you. Want to know how I learned this? I'm fucking done. It's obvious. At this point, this game doesn't want me to fucking win. I'm just fucking done. You know what? Someone else can play it. If anyone else can beat this, good on ya. But I ain't fucking doing it. Bye.